Hi, welcome to Wealth Creation Academy again. My name is Marshall. I'm your host. So in today's tutorial, I'm just going to share with you another consensus protocol, which is called DPoS, so Delegated Proof of Stake. As you've seen, just from the video you just watched, whether you just watch it now or you watched it before, we talked about proof of stake, so POS, and we talked about also the proof of work. Okay, what are the difference? And we talked about mastodons, okay, of a way of generating some kind of a passive income using the blockchain. Okay, it is in this era that we are on right now, guys. It is full of opportunity. There is no excuse not to learn all the skills and and prosper, right? So, but before I move any further, I just would like to put this disclaimer, because the following video is meant only for educational purposes. So I am not, don't take it as a financial or legal advice, because I'm none of those things. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a legal representative. Okay, just take this as my experience. I'm just expressing and I'm just explaining to a friend of mine who asked me the question about this, and I thought many people will probably benefit for the explanation that I'm going to do. So make sure you consult your lawyer or your financial advisor within your own jurisdictions of, if needed, wherever you are. All right, that's my disclaimer. Okay, so don't take this with a grain of take this with, do your own due diligence, basically. Okay, right, let's talk about proof of stake, okay, versus delegated proof of stake. So we talked about, obviously, a little bit earlier what is proof of stake, but let's recap to just show you a little bit the difference. Basically, a proof of stake, it is a blockchain protocol where holders or the staker, whoever have the token and they are staking it, they should have the role and responsibility of securing the network. That's the whole point. Okay, you have the role of securing the network by staking your coins, by locking up your coins somewhere. Okay, so that it does some kind of activity to secure the network. That's proof of stake. Okay. Now, delegated proof of stake is a little bit different. So it is a blockchain protocol where the coin holder, now you are considered as kind of a shareholder. Okay, you're considered as a shareholder, and you can vote for block producer, which are called witnesses. So the block producers are called witnesses. Now, in the case we're going to talk about a little bit the EOS. The EOS was the first protocol, first blockchain to adopt this DPoS, and it was by the guy called Dan Larimer. Okay, Dan Larimer was the first person to actually come up with this idea of delegated proof of stake. Okay, so as a shareholder, as a token holder, you can vote for block producers. Now, in terms of the EOS, they have 21 block producers, so witnesses. Now, these witnesses, what they do, they validate the block. When they validate block, they get rewarded. Okay, and so get rewarded by generating block, pretty much like in Bitcoin blockchain, where the miners, once they solve the puzzle, the mathematical puzzle, they get rewarded with a block. And I think at the moment it's 6.25 BTC. So in here, in EOS or many of the delegated proof of stake consensus protocols, these block producers, these witnesses, they validate block and they get rewarded. But you also who delegate, who are voting for them, who are delegate, you can delegate your coin and earn some kind of a passive income. Now, this is pretty much, when they validate this, when you're voting for them, this is pretty much like the same as similar to a democratic vote, a republic vote. So this is also will be proportional, weighted to based on your stake that you hold. Okay, so you are voting for, it's like a voting for the most favorite, or the one that you think they're going to be doing the right thing, the ones you think they can secure the network. For example, they have all the physical machinery and possible to secure our network. Now, those of you who are in our new economic evolution of the world, for example, you do know that our blockchain is being viewed, and they have taken the code from the EOS blockchain. So it's going to be a little bit similar, but this is not a fork of it, okay? So we're going to have some block producers, and as a token holder, for example, of UNTB, you're going to be able to have a vote to vote who are the men, or the company might decide at the beginning to take control and select who are the block producers who can, who have the experience in managing this as like witnesses. Okay, so that is in a short what is a delegated proof of stake. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of DAC, so decentralized autonomous companies. So this now, in the traditional way, company have been centralized, have been there, but the new companies moving forward, they're going to be decentralized autonomous companies. Okay, and I think, like, for example, our new economic evolution of the world, they are moving towards that. It's actually moving towards that. What is a DAC? Okay, the first real DAC was DAC, so decentralized autonomous company. It was really like Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is not a company, but it kind of operates, and it showed the way how people can structure their company to be a DAC, to be a DAC, a decentralized autonomous company. Okay, so in terms of the Bitcoins, or in terms of any company, you need to look at a product. So in terms of Bitcoin, the product is a payment service. So they wanted to become Bitcoin. When it was first, it was considered to be peer-to-peer money service. Okay, and your product was the revenue. The revenue in terms of the Bitcoin is the fees, and the shareholders, that those holders of the Bitcoin, whether you have 0.1, 0.2, 5, 10, whatever, you are a holder within that company, decentralized autonomous company. Now, employees, you can call them like miners, because they are the miners that actually secure the network. They are doing a job for the network, so they're like the employees. Okay, the miners, they are machines. Okay, they are miners, they're not individual, they're machines. Those machines are owned by people, obviously, but the miners, they are machines. Okay, and the cost is basically the fees that you paid, transaction fees, and the block reward that get rewarded by those miner by confirming a block. Okay, so like a share dilution. Okay, so the customer, who are the customer in a decentralized autonomous company, is the users of the platform. So you have a platform, and a decentralized platform where different customers can use it to benefit them. Okay, voting. Now in our new economic evolution of the world, we're going to have some kind of voting, for example, on how much profit bonus is paid. That also shows you that our company is moving to that decentralized autonomous company. Okay, that's where the foundation is going towards. Okay, voting. So miners hold the majority. So the miner can vote. They're doing a lot of stuff by just holding, like, for example, the coin. In the Bitcoin, you have really not much votes, but the miner, because they're the one who actually doing the work, they have more majority of a say. However, within our delegated proof of stake, the token holder, you have actually some votes. So the witnesses, they have some bigger votes, but you also, as an individual, we are the one who vote them. We have also some kind of a power. Okay, the charter is basically the operating code. It's just a source code of the Bitcoin blockchain, the source code, which is open source, and that is like the charter of it. Okay, this is when you hear about decentralized DAC, decentralized autonomous company. This is what you can use to verify that really truly this is a DAC company. And when you're looking for company to, I don't know, to invest, whether it depends whether you're a libertarian, whether you want to be to participate, things that are decentralized rather than being controlled. This is the kind of things you can be looking for. Okay, so that, just make sure you remember that. Now, many people, right, the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain, for example, is decentralized. However, that the mining process, the mining, we just saw the power of the mining, the miners that have power of vote. The mining is actually centralized because you have over nearly 68% of the hashing power. The hashing power that is only controlled by only 5 miners. So if these 5 miners can also decide, if they do, I don't see they won't have no incentive to do it, but if they want, they can do it. They can put the 51% attack. Okay, but they won't have no interest to do it because also they hold the Bitcoin, they mine the Bitcoin. These are the 5 really that dominate the hashing power of the Bitcoin network. Okay. Now, let's talk about the EOS blockchain, the 3rd generation. Like I said, EOS blockchain is very similar to our new blockchain because the developer took the code from EOS, then they adapted to what we have in our new economic evolution of the world, for our blockchain. Okay, so the EOS is like a 3rd generation delegated proof of stake blockchain. Like, it was the first to adopt this kind of. You've got others such as Cardano. You've got some other NTX. You've got some more. You've got ARC. You got some more. Okay, so the blockchain is a blockchain operating system which creating an array of developers tools, so people to build on application, DApp, which are decentralized applications, and operating system to build up like Steam, for example, BitShare, and more easily. Okay, they can have account recovery, database, permission, allocation, scheduling, authentication, interrupt communication, blockchain or token creation. Okay, for example, Linux, built in dev tools, Steam example, built in 3 to 4 months, very quickly. So you can also support, thousands of commercial scale decentralized application through the parallel execution and asynchronous communication. All right. So in less than 1 second block time. So very fast. Okay. You can also run a node that only runs the application that you need. Okay. You can run a node that is only going to focus on applications that you need. So don't run everyone else's business. So you're not going to run. Your node is not going to be concerned of any other people's business. And I think that's what we in our blockchain. They have adapted. So we're going to focus on what we're trying to achieve. We adapt it, and we're going to run those nodes just specific for what we're trying to achieve in our new economic evolution of the world. For example, now, if you are a person and you hear new economic evolution of the world, and you don't know what I'm talking about, and you never come across it, type in the chat, and I can send you more information about it. And yeah, let's catch up, and then I can explain more about this because there is more opportunity than EOS. You can have more opportunity than EOS, okay? Because we still underground down there, okay? All right, and even though your node is focused on what you're doing, things are run in parallel, okay? Let's talk about staking tokens and the voluntary inflation. So, like I said, I'm going to give you an example of EOS, but you can also relate to our own blockchain in the new, okay? In a NEEW, right? New Economic Evolution of the World. So, tokens in EOS, for example, are basically like shares of the platform. They are shares of the platform. If you own 1% of the EOS tokens, you have a control over 1% of the network resources. So EOS it provides resources like a storage, bandwidth, RAM, CPU, spaces, cycle, or file storage. Okay. So if you want to access file storage, for example, if you want to access some EOS storage, or you want to build a DApp, a decentralized application on EOS blockchain, you need to stake some EOS. Okay, you need to delegate, or you can delegate your token within the file storage application, and you can get paid. So if you are a developer and you want to build an application on EOS blockchain, you have to either buy on the market, buy EOS on the market and stake them, or you can rent, you can lease some token from already a token holder person, and then you pay them interest. Okay, because you are building your business, your application, then so you're leasing somebody else's token, and you pay them interest. Okay, for if you're a token holder, so you gain passive income. I'm just gonna show you a little bit later an example that you can relate, where as a token holder, could be applying to our UNTB, for example. You might be able to earn passive income by staking your coin. In this case, EOS, the staking coin. Somebody, a developer, want to build an application, they can lease your coin, and you give them right to lease them. You give them access to it. You don't give it to them, you give them access to it. So you still hold your private keys, and then they can use as far as storage and they can build their application. Okay. Now, tokens aren't used or spent, so they're not spent. They're not using them, but they rather stake to access the platform. They use it to access the platform and allocate inflation payouts. You can and there is no gas in EOS. There is no gas, and all the transactions at no cost. That's why it's so exciting that our company that chose to use this to adapt what the EOS is doing to our blockchain, because all the transactions are going to be no fees. Okay, so which is pretty exciting. All right, just imagine, for example, if you was paying for every Facebook post. Why Facebook is so big? Because it's free. You can put the content, it's free. So within this year, imagine if you was, for every post you put or like you put, you have to pay for it. That would be crazy, isn't it? No one will be using Facebook. Why would you use it? So that's the same with EOS. So all the transaction fees is free. However, if you want to, for example, you want to advertise on Facebook effectively to other businesses, you have to pay for it, paying Facebook pay ads. So pretty much the same. If you're a developer, you're going to create a business out of it, you're going to generate revenue, so you need to pay for storage. Okay, so now let's relate to the blockchain, to the real estate. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example, and you can start to think like you thinking ahead, like our UNTB, how it can be, how you might be able to generate income. But I'm just going to relate to the EOS. But I've told you our blockchain, the code they have used is EOS code. So we are adapted to our company needs. Okay. So imagine a blockchain real estate. So what if I can tell you that if you lend, like I just said, you lend your coin to a developer without risking, because you only give them access, and you can get paid daily reward because they are building something. You can get paid daily reward, or you can also delegate it to the block producers, the witnesses, and you also share some kind of reward that they get. Okay. And what if I can tell you, you can also, especially when you leasing your token for somebody to have a storage space on their blockchain, you can dictate what kind of annual percentage return rate you want, okay, and what is the duration of the lease. So you can dictate basically, okay. So you are basically effectively lending out your right, okay, to use the platform, because you're the token holder, you are the shareholder. So now I want you to start thinking of the bigger picture. when it comes to our own blockchain and the new economic evolution of the world. Okay. So imagine like you have the whole flow, which means you probably have a lot of tokens, and then you have the capacities for lending out to so many people who want to build an dApps, decentralized application on our blockchain. So for example, in a year's term, you need 5,000 token in order somebody to build an application on their blockchain. You have that type of, you need to stake at least 5,000 in order to to lease the storage space to build the application on that. And now say, for example, the EOS token goes to 20. Now you can also think the same as, hypothetically, the same with UNTB, our UNTB token. So it could be pretty much the same. If you set your APR for 10%, this could generate pretty much like $833 per month cash flow. You don't have no employees, you don't have no other equipment. Is purely cash flow and passive income, because you don't do anything else. You delegate them. That's the power of this delegation, DPoS. Okay, and I hope you're excited about to find out about this, and I hope you're excited if you are in a new economic evolution of the world, that this could be the potential we might have with our blockchain, with the assets we have on that blockchain. And then also, so keep learning, and I'm going to be giving more content that can relate to our blockchain, or what we have in new economic, or something outside, but in a way they're going to be kind of intertwined, they're going to be related in some way. Okay, there's going to be a connection, because my purpose now is really to educate people about the blockchain environment, to educate the people about cryptocurrency, especially within our new economic evolution in the world, because I realize that we are still behind. So my purpose is to also use this channel to help people. So if you don't, if your friends is not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. It does help me to keep growing, to keep putting this content on top of other responsibilities that I have, and I'm dedicating my time to grow, to help you also understand this stuff. Okay, I'll speak to you soon in the next lecture, in the next video that I'm going to produce for you. Okay, bye for now.